Get started. So welcome to Inside the Alchemy of Self. We have put together this call to go over some logistics, what to expect for the course, go over, do an overview of the course and answer any questions that you may have so that we can be in the same page for a journey that's starting on the 18th.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay. All right, so here you're going to see this image a lot. I just love it, so I figure why not? Just going to keep showing you. We are going to go through a chakra journey, so that's why the chakras are in there, and we're going to be exploring, incorporating the chakras into our program.
Yep. And along with the spiritual aspect of things, because we're working with the transpersonal self and the alchemy of self, you're actually going to come away with real 3D, having it happen tools along the way. So in this image, there's this whole spirit body and the alignment of the chakras. And that goes along with like alignment with self to self and alignment with each one of the energy centers and what they represent, right? So looks like Lisa Renee's getting attacked by kitty cat again there, but like, like there can be blockages that come around certain chakras and certain energy centers, personal power, the heart space, the self-expression and many of these things. And that's really where the alchemization comes. But then there's real 3D steps that we get to play with as well during the journey.
Yes. So if you just want to invite everybody's attention to be present in the call. So if there's any communication on the phone, maybe that can be put to the side for just a period of time so that you can really, be in the energy and create this container together. And that's something that we are going to be, holding a container of presence throughout our program together.
Yes.
So we're going to start with the important dates. So I just wanted to kind of go over and give you an idea of the dates that matter. So you can kind of have an idea of what's to come. And so first and foremost, yay, we have our kickoff call, right? That's happening on Monday. That's when the Alchemy of Self officially begins. And so we are going to host this call at the same time, so 7 p.m. for this call. And it'll be, like I mentioned, kickoff call, and we'll go through some important guidelines and different things that we're going to be supporting us along the journey. So that's the first thing to mark in your calendar is this coming Monday, November 18th.
Yeah, and that call will be an opportunity. It's not necessarily getting super into the meat and potatoes of the material, but it will be more of an overview and also an opportunity to, self-introductions and what's the intention for the journey. And also we're going to look at, when we're going on a journey of self-transformation in a group, or when we're doing anything as a group, it's important to establish the culture, and culture is oftentimes established by guidelines. So, we're going to be providing some specific guidelines as far as like, these are the things that we're all saying yes to, so that we can all create that safe container that we've all agreed to and or ask questions and come to an alignment to. There's a distinction between agreement and alignment, so that when we move forward in working with the material and doing the deeper work, we've got a safe space and a culture that everybody is in agreement with the way that that everything will be set up moving forward.
Yes. Beautiful. So your next important date is our Sacred Beginnings Retreat.
More graffiti.
Yes, it's celebration, right? We're kicking this off. So this is going to happen in Villa Sol, but we also will have the virtual opportunity. And so because we have some virtual, people that would be from out of town, we were originally going to do a day and a half. And so we're going to be now working with from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we really want to make sure that we make it digestible and, for those of us who are joining us virtually.
And it's still a bit of a day and a half, because we're starting and we're going to dive into a 4-hour deep dive into the opening, right? Which is going to have some many things that we get to really deepen into. But then for those who are coming in person to the retreat, which is over here in Plantation, Florida, so for some of you a bit of a flight, for some of you just across the state that I know of, and so it's not long, and there's actually room and board if somebody was to come here and wanted to stay, we have that covered. And it's gonna roll right into, and this is where the day and a half comes in into the next
Yep.
slide.
And just one thing, so we are going to start at 11 a.m. promptly. So 10 a.m. arrival for those of you who are gonna be coming in person. It's
Mhm.
the ideal. So
Yeah,
yes,
and we'll
stay for
have,
beginnings.
we'll have some snacks and coffee and matcha teas and all kinds of things. So even if you don't get a chance to put food in your belly, there will be some things here that we will provide.
Yes. And then we're gonna roll right into
Oh,
a dance
yeah.
party that we're actually hosting that same day on Saturday. We are celebrating, number one, we are kicking off our Alchemy of Self program. So we're going to be celebrating that. We are also celebrating, it's a housewarming. We just moved to our beautiful retreat space in July. So we get to dance and celebrate and also move some energy. 2024 has been, at least for us, I don't know about you, but for us, there's been a lot of intensity, just been a lot of change and transformation. And so I really felt called to dance. I love house parties. If you know us, you've already participated in a few of our dance parties. The theme of this one is Sparkle Galactica, and it's in honor of Love Burn, which is a regional Burning Man group. And so it's just galactic vibes, and come have fun. Those of you who are coming in person to the retreat can, of course, stay and participate in the dance party.
Yeah, and really what it is an opportunity, especially for those who are newer to Adam and Claudia, to be able to meet some of our local community down here that we do so much work. I know community has been something in conversations with each one of you that is important. Whether it's new, whether it's cultivating, whether it's, hey, I just went through a bit of an internal metamorphosis in a butterfly kind of, mutation. I know some of you just came through that. I can see your wings from here. And you know who you are, and it gives you an opportunity. We may have a guest DJ. There is probably going to be a combination of myself DJing. I will bust out the full set, and then there's also our dear friend Eric Liu of Shamanic Tonic, who may or may not be coming in and doing some DJ set. He's just communicating with me now. How long of a DJ set do we need? Which means there may be ceremonial cacao, and there's all kinds of surprises that we don't even know. But other than that, even if I'm DJing, I must say so myself, it's pretty badass. So
yes, I know. And I'm so excited. He got super inspired by the theme. So I love that he actually checked in and wanted to offer his DJ services. So it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think he got inspired by your outfit. It was pretty legit. That's actually us from, where were we? Love Burn.
Yeah, that's Love Burn.
Yeah, so we're bringing the vibes of a Love Burn here. Yep.
Amazing. So that is this Saturday. So then now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of our program. So we're going to break the month into modules. So there's going to be one module per month, right? That we're going to cover different aspects of the program. And so Mondays, it's the day that we've been for a while been feeling into. Originally, we had set a weekly call. And so we decided to do 3 calls and actually do 1 integration week in between. And we looked into the possibility of doing 2 calls a month, and it just becomes a lot to try to fit in 2 classes. And we want to give people the opportunity to integrate in between. And, and just the flow of splitting it into 3, it's going to be more digestible.
Yep.
And so basically the first 3 Mondays of the month is when we're going to be having our calls. And then we're going to have integration week would be week number 4. Of course, the holiday break, right? We have that after in December.
And just a little note, as part of this program, each quarter, you get a deep dive one-on-one session that can either be with Claudia and I, Claudia or myself. We're going to kind of feel into what that looks like, depending on, it's not like we're feeling into it and you get assigned to but during that time off too, there's some opportunities. If there's a little bit of stuff around, okay, we're doing this deeper work and we want to work with a one-on-one session, that would be a good opportunity during that week to be able to schedule that time.
Yep. And we'll talk more about that towards the end. So here is where we can get a little interactive and we're going to have to, we're a group. It's usually hard to find the perfect time that fits for everybody, right? So I know that. My desire, and I understand their work schedules and everything, so we're gonna figure out what the best time is. I particularly would love to do it during the day, because at the end of the day, everybody, like, our brains are just done, right? So we don't have the same ability to receive, to learn, and go through material. So
And
we,
we're sensitive that two people that are joining are gonna be in a different time zone. John, are you 2 hours behind or 1 hour behind from Eastern time? 1 hour, okay,
1 hour.
that's not so bad then, but
Okay, so in the chat, I would love to hear, like, what time works for you? What time would you like to have our
yeah,
calls?
just put in whatever time you feel works for you and we'll take a kind of a collective poll. And we try to, even for the evening session, 5:30 PM, so that way we can be off by 7 PM and it doesn't get in the way of family time and all the things.
Yeah, exactly. And so just checking the chat, will there be a recording? Yes, there will be a recording. And Masha, we got you with the chakras. We got you, we got you.
What did she ask about the chakras?
That has little knowledge,
Oh,
understanding. So
you just made
perfect.
my day,
Yes,
Masha.
we got
You made
you.
my year, actually, because we're gonna dive deep.
Yeah, exactly. It's super powerful. All right, so we have open to any. That's great. So 12, then 2, then 5:30. Perfect.
If I had a rank.
Should we write, you want to write down?
We can just, this is gonna be recorded, don't worry about it.
All right, but just for us. I got it. If it's up to me, if I could choose, I would probably choose either 12 or 2. Like, the earlier in the day, the better. That's my, my 2 cents. But of course, if you do have a 9 to 5 job, that's gonna be a
So what do we
challenge.
have here? We have
How
an
long is the class?
hour and a half each call.
90 minutes.
Yep.
90-minute call.
What do we have so far?
Suppose if I can join in the car. Yeah, I guess it depends if you have reception, right? If you're able to listen in. Nelson says 12 or 2, okay.
So this isn't,
Okay.
if
You're
you
off
have like,
Mondays,
if
holidays,
you
that's
have
great.
just one, we're talking about like overall for the entire journey. If it's like one particular date here or there, it's gonna be a lot of calls that we're with together, and there's gonna be times that
Yeah.
you're gonna miss and watch the recording. And there's also going to be, buddy coaching and groups and things like that as well that can get to fill you in on the accountability part. And that's super important to us for you. So if you have just one day, like my mom, Deborah Cooper, was like, the second is an issue, like don't get too wrapped up around that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, trying to Lisa to combine it with a possible lunch hour,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So could you do lunch at 2, or would you have to be at 12 if you were to do lunch?
I don't know because I haven't started the job yet, and I think it's up to me. It's just that some meetings I'll have will be required, and I don't think they're on Mondays. So I think I'll be okay, but it's just hard to say. So I wanted to check in, like, if we could, do the hour, at least come live for the hour and then fall off if we had to.
Yeah, I mean, each call is going to be distinct. It's hard to say. There's so many different topics. However, usually the main aspect of the call will be within that first hour, most likely, and then there will be some sharing and things after that. So that works. But it looks like most people, other than Claudia Nieves, are saying midday.
Yep.
Masha,
And Masha
midday,
too.
tough for me afternoon.
You have your meetings, right, Masha? You have your team meetings
Yeah,
on
we have a
Monday?
meeting and then we have like deep dive. First is just meeting and then we'll go deep dive and like, yeah. I
Times your
mean,
deep dive?
changing that, I mean, it's possible, of course. But then, yeah, I mean, then I guess our work week will start on Tuesday instead of Monday because I'm working with Filipinos, and some of them, they go to sleep at 2 or like one of them sleeps like at 3, 4, and one of them sleeps at 2. So, I mean, 12 definitely that would not, like 12 is 100% no for me, unfortunately. Like 12 is for sure. I guess I can shorten it, something like that. That's gonna definitely suck a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah.
Okay. What about the 2 p.m.? On Monday, is that still running into your deep dive?
It is, but I mean, if that's what works for everybody, I guess we will need to like do the deep dive then the next day.
What about 3 p.m.? We didn't put that as an option, but just putting it out
I
there.
mean, that would be better for sure. I mean,
Okay.
but
'Cause,
I
you know,
don't want to be like the only one that's like here in a way.
Well, could you do 2? Could you do 3?
Yeah, 3 would be better for sure.
What
3
about Claudia? Yes.
more
Yeah,
better.
three for me, it'll be much better than 2. Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So Alines, you're off, right? So you could do 3. Or at least,
Yeah,
or-
for now I'm off, but I don't know what my schedule will be.
Okay.
But for
And
December,
it's
I
12
seem
to
to be off
2.
on Monday.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
we
got
can, we can work with that. So we'll take these into consideration. These are the 3 times we were considering.
12 to 2. Yeah, challenge. So 3 p.m. Eastern time, Fraser, could that be a possibility?
That'd be about 12 o'clock my time, so yeah, I could definitely take a lunch break at that time to make it happen.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like the 3 p.m. could work for most of you.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
so let's,
awesome.
and keep in mind, like, I know that there are some of you that have jobs where you're in a service industry or what have you, and you've got to be there. But for those of you that are independent contractors or what have you, or even if you're in the service industry, like if there's a regular rhythm of a time that you're able to take your lunch break or what have you, then we'll go from there. I don't know if 3 will work for, for Lisa, because she's going to be in work mode at that point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe,
I think actually it's okay because I'm gonna be working, the company's in California.
Oh,
So
okay, you're
That's noon their time, so
Hmm.
I think that's even better.
cool.
amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited because I really wanted to do this during the day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be better for all of us, and so I'm excited. I was a little bit like, oh, I hope people can make it. It's too much to do in the evening. So the only call we're gonna do in the evening, it would be the kickoff call, and we can also check in to see if we can do it
No, it's good to
earlier.
keep it in the evening. We've already announced it. It's good. Yep.
Okay, because we can do it earlier as well. I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So that is that. Basically, January, I forgot to put our vision board, but our vision board is the 5th. I meant to actually
For
write it
anybody
down over
who's
here.
interested in vision boarding this year.
Yes, we're gonna do it on Sunday.
It is virtual.
What time on Sunday?
We do it, same time as before, so it's 1 to 4.
Okay.
We'll be putting some stuff out there for that.
Yeah,
That's
awesome,
actually
but,
really great
that in
way to
mind.
start, and bring that into the journey as well.
Yep, so keep that in mind here for the 5th. And so, as I mentioned, the first 3 Mondays of the month is what we do, and then we'll have our integration week.
Yep. So that's a January calendar, same times, and
Yep,
then,
and then I just did up until January, but it basically looks the same moving forward. So
Yep.
first 3 Mondays of the month looks like 3 p.m.
Mhm.
Awesome, I love it. Thank you so much. Any questions so far?
How
regarding
the,
time?
yes, how the integration week looks like.
there's going to be plenty of time for you to work with buddies, coaching buddies or coaching
Yeah.
groups. There's also going to be, practices to do of what, so each of the 3 calls is working within a module. So each month is a module. So let's say we work on the module of will. The 3 calls in that month are going to be around will, and then there's going to be, some follow-up work to keep it going. So just doing the work for an hour and a half on a phone call is great, but how does it stick? Reading, homework, we're not going to overload, but there's going to be some
Yep.
things to do with that. And it gives some time integration. We can be actually putting the practices that we're covering
Correct.
into place in life.
That is the basic thing of the integration week is that.
Yeah.
Applying it into your life, right? Making sure that you're giving yourself that week, and also to just let it sit, right? Like,
Marinate.
marinate.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about do, right? You like, it's gonna be a combination, and if you need to catch up with any, replays or any homework, like, you're gonna have that week to do so.
Yeah, if it was me, I would have my same time blocked out every day, including the integration Monday. and I would do all my homework and my things and my reflection and all. There's going to be some activities more than homework as far as how to integrate. So there's an opportunity to do that. We didn't want to do just nonstop calls coming through
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
And as I
We
mentioned,
give a little breather.
I think there's like 13 or 15 people that are going to be joining the journey. So this is also a week to get one-on-one coaching about that module or about any of the modules in that quarter. So you're going to have 3 modules in a quarter, 3 months are in a quarter. And in that quarter, you're going to get a one-on-one coaching call. So you might be like, oh, wow, what's the next module? We're actually going to list out what all the modules are. And you'll know, okay, I'm going to hold off on my one-on-one coaching until I get into this module because it's something that I'd like to really work with, and we'll be able to utilize that. So there's another reason for that.
Exactly. Awesome. So if there are no further questions, then we'll keep moving forward to the program overview. So
Another
now
rocket ship.
another rocket ship. I just like that so much. I love the colors. So now we're going to go through each of the modules so you have an idea what the modules will look like. So the first module that's going to take place in December, it's Discover Your Inner Landscape. So it's going to be 3 calls. The first call is the foundations of psychosynthesis. Call number 2, understanding the self and disidentification. And call number 3, exploring subpersonalities. So we've, kind of briefly mentioned and worked with some of this. We're going to be focusing on the subpersonalities work is going to be more than just a month because it's going to take more, but it's going to be right. The first month, it's like the main month that we're getting started with that. And then we're going to continue integrating in further modules. So the theme is exploring the self. The chakra is the sacral chakra. And I meant to mention that the Sacred Beginnings retreat is actually a grounding. We're going to be working with the root. So Sacred Beginnings, we're going to be working with the root. And then we moved into the sacral for module number 1. And so what's the goal? To help you deepen your understanding of self and to identify the subpersonalities that you've created.
And just to give you an idea, since there was a question a little bit about chakra, the Sacred Beginnings retreat is the root chakra in the color red. Safety, belonging, groundedness, foundation. And then the sacral chakra is your next chakra up, which is in your sexual organs region, and it's around creativity and self-expression, and it's the color of orange. Now, there's other meanings to it as well. We won't get too deep into it. I just want to just touch on that. As I see Matcha over there with all of her note-taking skills. And then the next module is module 2, which is January. And this we're working with still the sacral chakra. And this really, is bringing in core beliefs, and beliefs and subpersonalities inform each other really well. So this entire program from start to finish, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to plug into module 3 and call it a day and coast through this thing. It's a building upon each other. And the subpersonalities and core beliefs that are informing life right now. And we could be like, well, why isn't this happening? And why is my relationship this? And we're going to start to uncover and see how these initial things bleed over, for lack of a better term, into all of life, and then be able to become the observer of that. We're going to discover in this module the landscape of the core beliefs, where they came from, what they are, how to recognize them, some processes on how to, get to the awareness of them, and recognizing, transforming, limiting beliefs. So that's going into alchemization. So if there's a limiting belief or a shadow, and want to alchemize it and transform it, that's turning it into gold. There's the alchemy of self. It's all over this program. And then living in alignment with core values.
Which you've mentioned. We've talked about values. So this is going to be an opportunity for you to get clear what those values are for yourself, and then aligning and then living in alignment with those core values. Yes, Masha.
What is it like in the alchemizing? What alchemizing means?
So the alchemist as a archetype itself, which I'm so happy, we're working with this actually in men's group.
And
Means
we
many
will
things.
be obviously going deeper, we'll take some time to go over this once we get
This is
started.
an overview, but like to give you, since you asked the question, the term alchemy was brought up by actually taking metal from the earth and melting away and heating and bringing the purest metal out of all the other mixed up metals. The alchemist is by way that, but it can be brought into the psychological self by saying, turning shadow into light. Also, it can be looking at mundane aspects of life, like, oh, I got to do this again and do that again, and actually turning them into the sacred. So it's anytime that we're transforming something from a shadow aspect into a light aspect is really the context of alchemy in this thing. Now, if we look at self-limiting beliefs, or we look at subpersonalities and things that are in the unconscious or even the blind spots, it might through this program. Without the there's no opportunity to even transform that space. So the alchemy is happening through this entire thing,
Yep.
all 13 months, and that's really what it means.
Yep, exactly. So you'll be mastering alchemy at the end of this program.
Yep.
Module 3, so this is for February, right? So we're gonna start to align and get connected with the higher self, right? And then we're gonna move up to the solar plexus chakra. And this is going to be all about aligning with higher self and also life purpose. So call number 1, foundations of higher self and purpose alignment. Call number 2, we're going to work with this identification and then integration with the higher self. And then call number 3 is going to be about embracing life purpose, whatever that life purpose is. And you'll have an opportunity to, to explore what that is for yourself, and then take aligned action with that.
Yep.
Those actions.
We're working with the solar plexus, moving up to the next chakra in this one, and we're with the color yellow, and this is really the place of personal power, I am, will, and what I just want to take a moment to share this. This is something that's going to be worked with different aspects of the framework of transpersonal coaching. There are polarity maps. And so a lot of people that I speak with, when they feel like I'm in trouble, something's going on, the bills are due, I just got pulled over by the cops, immediately butterflies right in their tummy. So that's the solar plexus area. When we look at the solar plexus area, why would we be like, it's the sense of I am. So when the solar plexus is distorted off to a distorted feminine, which is like, oh, I am, but nobody cares, why does it matter? Or off to the right, like I am, and everybody's gonna fucking listen to me, and that's the way it's gonna be. Or a centered, which is I am that I am, and I'm in alignment with myself and my values, and that's what we're working with when we are doing the disidentification and looking at the subpersonalities. Each one of these chakras gets its opportunity to come into alignment, and they build up on top of each other, and they start to open up the energy centers as we go up through the chakras throughout the program.
Yes, excellent. So moving along to module number 4 in March.
Yep, harmonizing inner self-talk.
So this is all about mastering emotional intelligence. This is, we're going to go up to the heart chakra for this one. And what's the goal here? To develop techniques to harmonize internal conflict. So call number 1, foundations for emotional intelligence and self-talk. Call number 2, we're going to recognize and shift negative self-talk. So here again, we're going to be alchemizing negative self-talk. Call number 3, you're going to learn how to harmonize inner conflict through self-compassion. That's one of the tools that we're going to be working with. So the idea is, in this month, I'm going to give you an opportunity to transform your self-talk, right, into empowering. So who can benefit?
Good self-talk.
Who can benefit from that, right? Who can benefit from, right, like just empowering talk, empowering beliefs. So we're going to be shifting all of that, your beliefs, your thoughts, your inner self-talk.
Yep.
Into gold.
And we begin to recognize that there is a frequency of, I want to make sure Masha hears this, there's a frequency, and our heart chakra is the color green, by the way. Sometimes it's pink, but pink and green, rose quartz or emerald green. When we become aware of subpersonalities and the vibration of fear, for instance, a scared little boy or little girl is a subpersonality, or the judged one, which is also fear. Anything other than love. And we're operating from that, and these self-limiting beliefs and then self-talk are coming from those places. There's a certain frequency and resonance, right? When we get those things into a line and we start to notice there's the frequency and resonance changes to love. It's almost like we become a magnet. Everybody in life has probably had a moment where you can like say something and it happens. So we start to look at, and I'm not saying we're teaching you to be magicians. We don't want to prescribe that, but like in the alignment with self and the frequency of what it is to be free and comfortable in our own skin and coming from a heart chakra space, and we're foundation, we're self-expressed, we've got solar plexus, like I am that I am, and then we're coming from the heart chakra space. So when we start to see the alchemization of our outer world start to take form,
Yes,
because there's a
exactly.
different frequency that's happening. So it's like the conflicts and the, you know, the waiting for the job and the all the things that just keep, they're being generated from a certain context, are they not?
Yep.
So we change that. The context is love. That's everyone's context where we come from. And then, but there could be things that are in the way. So that's where the alchemization.
Yep,
So you
so-
want to really hang on till month 4, because that's when we start to see real change going here, you know?
Yes, well, you're gonna start to see real change
Instantly,
right
already,
away.
probably today. but, you
And
know.
the whole premise of this program is that, you know, Adam touched upon that, right? It's like the outer world is a reflection of our inner
Mhm.
reality. So that's why we're going in, and right, we're bringing harmony, we're integrating and all of that, and then you'll be amazed at what your outer reality starts to show up. So I'm
Yep.
really excited about this module. All right, module 5.
Unlocking your inner strength. Everybody want to take a strength pose real quick?
Yes.
Let's do
Power
it. I know
pose.
Masha's gonna pop up
There you
first
go.
one, bringing in muscles, making
know
me
you're
look
gonna
like
love
a
it.
weakling over here. So we're still working with the heart chakra in this particular module.
Yep.
And we're developing personal resources.
Resources,
So,
yep.
you know, that's about, you know, discovering our inner strengths. You know, not the inner strengths of the self-talk that's like keeping us safe, but the inner strengths of that which really truly wants to emerge, that dream, that goal. And then we're also cultivating resilience and compassion. So the resilience and compassion, when, and they may for a while, I know for me, they still do. We've been working with this framework for many, many years, still eke up. And then there's an opportunity to have resilience when the subpersonality or when the self-talk comes up, because we've already got these tools, and meeting those things with compassion. Meeting them with compassion is probably all they're asking for, these little parts of ourselves anyway. So therein lies the resiliency in and of itself. And then integrating and expanding strengths.
Yep.
Because we can say, oh, I found this strength, but how do we integrate it? How do we practice it? How do we
Yep.
go out and do something out in the world that actually exercises that strength and then expands it to say, okay, that's just, we thought that's what our strength was, but now it's actually this, and there's expanding of that strength as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. We do want to cultivate that inner strength, right? That's going to support you dealing with challenges, turning those challenges into catalysts for growth, right? Which is what with our first masterclass is that. So, you know, it's important to get connected to what your strengths are so that you can lean on those strengths, right? To find that power and that resilience to move through.
Yeah. And I want to take a pause just right there to mention, there are some of you who have asked about, you know, the what's next after this, because we're about halfway through the modules. Going through this program is going to create a way of being that then gets to be a demonstration in life for others who you may want to coach, guide, parent, hold space for, facilitate.
Or just be in relationship
Or be in
with.
relationship with, whatever that may be. So this, when you cultivate these and you go through these programs where we're going into these modules and in a group too, and where there's some accountability, can be a different demonstration of ourselves out into the world, you know?
Yep, exactly. Now, we're doing our best. We'll present all the material, we do the exercises and everything. We can't guarantee that the transformation is going to happen, right? It's going to be up to you, how
Yep.
you are, you know, integrating, applying the knowledge.
Mhm.
But you have the tools. We're really giving you a, you know, powerful framework to work with.
Yeah, and we're gonna speed up a little bit here too,
Yes.
because we want to keep the time going.
So
go ahead.
module 6, we're gonna dive into the will, right? Some of you who were with us, we already have an idea of how the will works, but there's a lot more to that. And so we're gonna be diving into and strengthening the will in the module number 6. So we're continuing with the solar plexus. And, you know, I mentioned about the strength and the resiliency. That is, you know, something that a muscle that you will be working through throughout the program with us, and also, you know, building that strength to overcome internal resistance, because that's a lot of the times what stops us. So we'll understand the nature of the will, and then you'll learn how to overcome resistance, and then also integrate your will and purpose. So there's going to be some action taking in this particular module.
Yep. And what we'll do now, instead of reading all the slides, you guys can see them. But we're
Well,
just
I'd
gonna
like to
do
go
an
through it. I'd
overall.
like to go through it.
Okay,
So
I mean,
module 6.
so module 7 is
Sorry,
actually in
7.
we're going between heart and solar plexus here a little bit. We're back in the heart chakra. And the goal is to craft and embody your ideal self.
Yeah,
What would
you're
that
right.
be without any stories? You
Yeah.
know, what would you ultimately like to create in all the domains of life concurrently? And we'll be exploring this concept of the ideal model, identifying gaps and strengthening the self-compassion of like, here's where I am and here's where I want to be. Oh my God, it's such a big mountain, but step by step by step with the will. So you don't have to be like, oh my God, how am I going to get there from here?
Yep.
And embodying the ideal model in daily life, being the demonstration, living as if.
Exactly. So this
Yep.
is going to be a powerful, this is all the ideal model based on psychosynthesis. Huge. It's actually one of my favorite modules. So looking forward to, you know, seeing what each of you generate from this space, from your ideal. And then module 8 in July. So then now we're going to go into strategies for success, moving up to the throat chakra. And so we're going to turn plans into sustainable action, right? So there's going to be action taking here. And this is where Adam was mentioning about, we are going to be grounding this and actually applying into the 3D. And so you'll have an opportunity to craft a vision and set goals for yourself. Call number 2, you're going to develop this strategic pathways, right? To achieve those goals, and also how you're going to overcome the obstacles that will show up in the way. And then call number 3, sustaining momentum and aligning actions with purpose. So we're really about the sustainability aspect of this. We want to make sure that, you know, you have the strategy, but also all the tools that you need when you have resistance coming up, obstacles, that you know how to deal with them and how to alchemize the obstacles into more fuel to support you to reach your goals.
We have a question in the chat. That's a big question, Masha, but I can say that we are choosing in every moment, we're choosing from somewhere. We may not even realize where we're choosing from. We think we're choosing from an alignment with self, but then through these classes and courses, we can see, wow, my thumb started going up just because I was doing this. We can see that there are things that are influencing our thoughts, behaviors, decisions, actions, and otherwise. And that can even be overachiever. That could, you know, versus like, oh, it could be like freeze, don't even take action. It can be like, wait for the universe to give it to me because it's not in my hands anyway. The ultra spiritual ego. And so relationships, communication, collaborations impacting the whole course.
Yeah.
Everything will be impacted because there's going to be opportunities. And again, this is about our own willingness to go deep and look and integrate. But if we know that there are certain things that we're unaware of today that are impacting relationships, communication, collaboration, and impacting, but then we are aware of new things and have integrated them, it will change and affect every one of those things. And then you'll be able to actually set goals into each one of those domains, Maja, to actually hold yourself accountable to having them happen in an alignment with true self.
Yeah. And actually, funny enough, module number 9 is about all building about your support network. So this is where relationships are going to come into play, right? You're going to create your strong circle of support, because we can't do it alone, right? And so you're also going to learn communication strategies that will support you in your relationships. So you're going to identify your circle of influence, and you're going to learn how to communicate your needs and create boundaries. This is huge. And then strategies to sustain momentum and align purpose. Actually, that looks like it was from the last call, so I have to update that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so there you go. All about relationships, module number 9.
And module 10, all the way in September of 2025. Can you imagine? Can we even like feel that right now? That's like fall next year.
Yep.
Review it's the mastering inner alchemy and reflection on your journey. So we're going to be we're actually working with the third eye. So this is like vision, like higher vision. And it's actually just like a place to be able to take a vision of what has been learned so far and applying it into the future. You're gonna reflect on the journey and celebrate growth. Celebration is a
was-
big part of what we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, we've gone through a lot by now, once
Yep.
we get to this module.
Yeah,
So
we'll
we
be
got a lot to
celebrating
celebrate.
all along as well, and then embracing self-compassion, or I would say
Yes.
like embodying self-compassion
Yeah,
and transforming insights into inner strength and wisdom. So we're going to acknowledge the growth and the key insights that have come along. It's a really great time to reflect back upon the journey, integrate, ask questions, go deeper. Oops, I forgot that. I didn't even remember we learned that, all those kind of things, right? This is a month of like
yeah.
going and doing that, synthesizing the self. So mastering inner alchemy. Synthesis is to blend together. It's like integration. And then embracing wholeness through self-compassion and integration.
So the goal is sorry to cut you off.
Totally.
So this module is super important, right? So this is the synthesizing of the self, the mastering inner alchemy. So we're going to be working through the alchemy process throughout the whole month. And so by this module, you'll have the tools so that you can master that inner alchemy for yourself. And the whole idea of this program is to reach wholeness, right? That you can integrate all aspects of yourself, and so that you can embrace that sense of wholeness. And we are going to be working with a lot of compassion, and this process, holding all of our parts, and then also being able to integrate it. So I'm really excited about this, as well as, yeah, like you said, celebrating.
Going back to Masha's last question
transformation.
there, like from self-compassion births compassion for others. So relationships, business, impact, all of that. When I can walk in the world from a place of self-compassion and self-love and self-alchemy, the me who shows up for others is completely different than the one who is not being compassionate with the self, because it's like very critical. And then that gets projected out energetically. So there's that impact that you're looking for, Masha. I think a big part of it.
And then the last module is visioning and planning, right? So this is going to be, once again, you've kind of gone through, integrated all aspects of yourself, then you're going to take some time to vision what your future self is, connected with an ideal model. And then you're going to identify the resources that you will need to overcome the challenges. And it's all about building your long-term growth plan for sustained growth. This is huge.
And we didn't really get into the crown chakra, which is one above the third eye, but there is the transpersonal will, and the overall context of transpersonal coaching is ascending the personal. It's like there's the lower unconscious, there's the transpersonal I am that I am, and there's the present we are here in this space. So that crown chakra is essentially open through the entire thing through transpersonal.
There is. And this, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is an overview, right? And there is going to be some things we're going to be modifying as we go along, right? As we go through the month and the process, there may be some additions. There's going to be some things that we're going to modify.
It depends on the group dynamic,
exactly.
and individual work, right?
So, this is like a, kind of bird's eye view. And we're going to be pretty much going through this, but I already know there's going to be some things that we'll be modifying as we go along. And then we finish.
Yay.
Then we do a closing integration and celebration of self retreat, again here in Villa Sol in November 2025. I did the math. It'll be a month. A month, 12 months.
Yeah.
We mentioned 13, but really it's 12 months. So we'll be done in November. I figure it's good to have, an extra month just in case there maybe we add another, if we feel like we need to add, just additional calls or things like that. We kind of left the month open for that, a little buffer.
Yeah, we may extend one of the modules or kind of a part of the modules into that last month or in between. And then also we are in conversation.
Stop sharing now.
Yeah. So we're ready for live stream, but I say we are in conversation about a possible kind of halfway point experience that we may be able to experience together, for those who like to experience things. And so we're going to keep there's going to be some things that we're holding as like little gems, little Easter eggs along the way for you all.
Yes, Glau.
So
I just want to share, I already did part of this work, the same that you did for this, but I just love it. I'm like like floating in the clouds because it looks so beautiful. So I just want to say, wow, thank you. I can wait. I think this is what I've been waiting since you and we've been like walking the path. I've been waiting for what Popo Ego Tribe can make with the leaders that you are, and now seeing it in this program, and this is just like you say, this is just a little bit, and then what it makes the difference with the people, right? Because what I did or you guys did many years ago, we're not connected with that people that much or with that community. They're deep in our hearts, but we're not as connected. And I just cannot wait to do this with this group of beautiful people that we've been in the space for a while now. And very excited. It's very beautiful. Wow, the program, like, I just like, wow. No words. I'm just feeling it in the whole my body. It's my heart is like, yeah, like screaming and jumping, and I can't wait to start. So thank you so much. So beautiful for the love that you put in this work. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for acknowledging it, for seeing it. And we are equally excited. I'm so
Yeah.
excited that we have this offering and we can share with the world.
Yeah, and there's something really distinct. We went through what Claudia is referencing is like when we actually become certified transpersonal coaches, which we have these pieces of paper up behind us that you can't see that say that we are that. But it's very different to be going into the journey to become a coach and listening through that and have here's my I'm becoming a coach lens. And now I'm going to put on like I'm actually going to be in this group coaching experience utilizing tools of the transpersonal coaching that goes way deeper than just one-on-one because we're going through the entire modules together. There's a group, there's accountability, there's showing upness, there's integration as we go.
Yep, and there's going to be opportunities for you to work with other people in the group.
Yep.
And that may switch around. That's always super powerful.
Flex those muscles of actually integrating the work for each other and noticing, and being a stand and learning, and then also like being able to then transform and take that out.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea is at the end of the course that you are unstoppable. You're an unstoppable force of nature. You have the tools you need. You know how to alchemize when you have emotional stuff coming up, when you need to, kind of activate the will, when you need to strategize. There's like, different steps, and that you have that clarity in the bringing forth the vision, what it is that you want to bring forth, and to have community to support you through that transformation.
So in the space of Q&A, we'd love to hear
are there
what
any
you got
questions?
going on.
Are there any more questions for us?
So I've got a question. The program overall is very transformative for us. Is this setting us up to be a coach for others? I'm wondering.
Well, as far as like if they're not coming away with a certification or anything like that, I would say though that learning the tools, is coaching something that you're interested in doing?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would say is through what I would bring in if I was sitting in your space, I would bring in that as a vision or an intention for a course like this, that I would like to get clear on, is that something that I really want to do? What part of me is wanting to do that? And what is it that I want to be coaching with and like discovering the parts of self through your own transformative journey? But this isn't something that's going to be coming away with your certified coach. However, if that matters. And a lot of people do look for certain certifications and things like that. But I would say personally, if you're a learner and you're integrating and you're doing the work really deeply and you're practicing it with other people, you will most likely pick up many skills along the way to begin, operating that muscle of being a space or a coach for someone, and then say, you know what, this really does feel good to me. I know a lot of people, hundreds of people, that have gone through coaching programs, and only 1 to 5% of those people actually become coaches because then they realize, it's a lot, to hold that space for another person and all their stuff, especially when you've got scaling it. So doing this work really is an opportunity to, feel into it a little bit, I
Yeah.
would say.
And this is transpersonal psychology based. So it could give you an opportunity to see if this framework resonates with you. You'll see the change and the shift that you'll have in your life. And if that's something that you want to take further and get certified, you'll have the clarity, right?
Yeah.
And you'll already be able to be, you'll have an understanding of the framework to know if you actually want to, take it from there. So for me, I was waiting for a coaching program for a long time. And it wasn't until this psychosynthesis came into our lives that I was like, oh my God, this is it. And I'm so happy. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you'll have that awareness and then you can take it to the next step
Yeah.
after the program. And as Adam said, you'll have a lot of tools that you can apply. It's always good, of course, to go through an actual certification program if you do want to be a coach, but you can apply the tools. I don't know if you have people that sometimes they come to you and ask for advice, different things like that, but you'll be able to support them
Mhm.
with some of those tools.
Yeah, and
Okay.
a lot of coaching is really around like self-discovery, what's in the way, or spiritual coaching, business coaching, ontological coaching, which is basically teaches you to ask discovery questions over and over and like, and then what? And then what? And then what? But this is like a framework, and I love working within a framework. So there's like, not only we're doing the self-discovery, but then we get up into these other parts of self and then into integrating into life. And that's what really is beautiful about this
Yes.
program for me personally. Yes, Masha?
So it sounds like that it's gonna be like unbelievable. Like, I mean, even though Sean asked about like being this type of coach, but it's just being a coach, being a speaker, being that impactor, right? It's just gonna be a complete transformational because it starts with us, right? It starts with us, and then we can share this. And even though not being, let's say, a spiritual coach or exactly mindset coach, but in my coaching, there's a lot of like mindset, right? And then being able to be that higher self is being able to uplift others, elevate others, and guide them maybe in a straightforward like this program, but still it's kind of like a part of it
Yeah.
in a way. But I really feel like that's is gonna be something incredible.
Yeah, just between the both of the Sean's question and then your more statement, for me personally, we've talked about, this isn't just a one and done. This is like our initial group that Claudia and I are deciding to come out with and say, let's do this thing. We're really known as like deep work facilitators, and we've been a little behind the scenes in that regard. So now we're bringing this forward as an offering that then invites some of the deeper work that we do in our community, and we can talk about that offline. Most of you kind of know what that is, or I've talked to you about that before. But then there's like we haven't really like anchored it in, and I don't like to say things without knowing that we're going to do them. However, planting a seed is distinct, that we plan on another one of these groups moving forward. And some of the things is like those who have attended this group and want to like invite people into another group and then be a part, almost like auditing and doing the work all over again and kind of sitting in the role of like space holding and even, learning what that's like. This is something that we're just planting a seed for.
Yeah.
Claudia's looking at me like, whoa, no, but I mean, this is something we are going to keep this program
Yeah.
moving
And,
forward.
and we talked about holding space. That's something that we've been asked, like, can you please, teach us how to hold space with, in group setting, like a group healing. So this is a step one, right? The step one is mastering self. First and foremost, for your life, for your loved ones, for everything, right? That's the first step. So this is definitely the first step in that process. If you are interested, maybe in furthering along that process of learning to hold space for another.
Yep.
And then, we're really gonna take it deeper on the next level, but this is level one, and we want everybody always ask us, how can they be like we have, right? We've been able to integrate a lot of it. So this is it. This is your opportunity to learn
Mhm.
that flow and peace.
Allie Ness.
So does that mean that you're going to eventually teach how to hold space? And like
There are,
this?
there are many people that are asking us to teach us how to do that, and that could be in many different modalities.
Yeah.
That can be in alternative assisted therapies. I'm being very neutral with my words. That can be with breath work. That could be with women's groups. That can be with men's groups. That can be at work. What does holding space mean? But yes, it's an opportunity. Like if I'm holding a space of a healing space for somebody else, Ali, like you right now, I'm holding space with you, Ali, and we're in a session. And I've got sub personalities and limiting beliefs and running in my brain right now, and I'm holding space for you, and I'm all blocked up, and my chakras are all out of alignment. And I'm like, yeah, tell me about all your fears. And then I ask you a question that's like coming from this weird, distorted space because it's a projection. We're always projecting. The psychological law of projection is proven and it is happening 100% of the time. This is right, this is wrong, this is what is should be or shouldn't be, this is rude, this is kind, all these different things. But when we can come from this neutral space, that there's no agenda, and we can hold and ask questions of someone else from compassion and
Yeah.
curiosity authentically, that alone is just one aspect. So this is where, like what
Yep.
Claudia was mentioning, it just creates a container of self to be able to then step into
Correct.
the other. There are many people that are asking us for a space holding group
Yeah.
program. And we've actually said that we would probably launch something like that later on next year when we're through the certain amount of modules of this one, that we have some of those key tools to then start learning how to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
so.
But this was first step number one.
Yeah.
And for you as a manager, this is gonna
Yes.
be key.
Yeah, and as a daughter who's growing into an adult very
Yeah.
quickly, it's also going to be key,
Yeah,
you know?
it's gonna be key, right? As
Yeah.
you like,
Because
so,
that's what I'm noticing. Because like the way Trader Joe's asks for each person to be a manager is very different than any type of management position that I've seen in the past and management positions that I've held in the past. And it's just so very different. And it's the main focus is to never come from a place of judgment to, and that's something that I sometimes need help in.
Yep.
So this is perfect. This is
Yeah.
perfect. Yes.
know.
One of the books of the
Great.
founder of, I think he wrote it, The Unstoried Self.
Now you're talking about the unfolding self.
Well, there's the unfolding, well, there's a term called the unstoried self, and I think there's a book about it. I'll have to look it up, but it's like what it is to actually sit and be in life without all the stories of the past running.
Yep.
How would that feel?
Yeah.
And so like that's where judgments come of, and usually a judgment of someone else is really a judgment of ourselves. And of somebody else's judgment is really a judgment of themselves. But we're learning tools through this to be able to recognize when those things are coming. So then we can work with that energy and just, it's, so much love into that space versus defense, attack, justification, and all the things,
Yes.
which is really
And
key.
something you'll learn in module 1 when we start going into the sub-personalities is that all these sub-personalities that are not integrated, they're eating up our energy. They're taking up our energy. So as we take the time to integrate them and bring them into wholeness, we like all of a sudden actually open up,
Yeah.
right? Energy for the resources that we really want. We just don't notice, right? Because those are under our subconscious, right? We're not aware that we have those programming running. So
Yep.
it's going to also open up a lot more energy for you, for all of you. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yeah, Claudia says, when I did the psychosynthesis coaching program, I did it for my personal development. Yep, exactly.
Mhm. And is it an interesting how simple, and we'll go to my mom next, how simple the practices are when done so in a step-by-step fashion, and how easily, how many years ago, they are just like, there's a couple aspects of it that we may remember, but are we integrating them and are we using them in everyday life when situation triggers, fears, the change in the all the stuff that's going on in the world,
Yeah.
and we get pulled off of center, and that's where really we get an opportunity to anchor these things in a little more. Yeah, Mom?
I thank you, Adam, and everybody. I see this for myself and for community, but a beautiful integration in combination with the health coaching path I'm on. And I see it as everybody now, most of you guys know I am Adam's mom and am blessed and honored to hold that space for 49 years in all the mommy stuff. But the truth of it is, in our past discussions and current discussions in our hearts, that this program will also sustain myself, you, generations before and after the clearing of that. And that's a goal we had discussed years ago and said, however it's going to look like, we are both on board, including your brother, to like break those cords that do not serve, and to get beyond where we could be have been stuck in, like, well, I'm this screwed up because of that. And it's like, we're way past that. And I'm grateful for us as a family to have a unified truth in realizing this and having this come to fruition.
Very well said. We should get that recording and put it out there on all our
Well said.
Instagrams
I
and
know, that was
everything, but
great.
like,
Oh God,
Truth-
I don't know if I can remember what I said, but you have it on recording, so you're welcome to use that.
but yeah, and thank you, that does actually deeply land, blockchain technology, if we want to look at it like that. We have a chain of all these amazing things that have happened in life, but then there's these like kinks in the chain. Anybody been riding a bike and their chain breaks, where there's like a bend in the chain and you're like, I gotta walk this bike home?
Yeah.
Like being able to actually look at where the blocks are in our DNA, which is blockchain kind of in and of itself, and the chakras and so on, and find spaces of forgiveness of mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever generations. And there are some teachings that would say that this is healing 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. When we learn to communicate in our closest relationships, and the Course in Miracles would say our special relationships that are here to show us aspects of ourselves that get to be healed and loved. So if mom and dad trigger, and then we're like, oh, but I had such a rough childhood, and we're saying that story to ourselves, even if we're not saying it consciously, but it's informing, I'm so strong because I had a rough childhood. Both of those, weak because of rough childhood, didn't know, I'm so strong because of rough childhood. They're both distorted in their own way because they're coming from a story of rough childhood. A brother and sister right next to that rough childhood might be like, what are you talking about? Our childhood was amazing. And they, you know what I mean? So everybody has their own thing. And I really love that you brought that up, Mom, because there's a much, deeper forgiveness. I know that there's some other people that we've had conversations about their, moms, dads, and grandparents and so on that are witnessing the same transformations.
Yeah, if I may add real quick, I am poetic. If I could walk through the world and speak even to the grocery store clerk in poet way, they might look at me like I have 3 heads, but that would be speaking how I really wish I could be, and I do and will. But I often write about the tapestry, and life is threads of many colors and knots of many colors, and we can look at those knots as the traumas and the blocks and the kinks in the chain. But when you look at the entire tapestry, when we're able to see that clearly, how beautiful that is.
Yeah. Masha, I'm not saying that at all, but there is a distinction of like, both of them are saying, are coming from the past. They're both referencing something that happened in a story that we're being right about. Distinct from I am strong. Not I am strong despite of or because of or any of those kind of things. You know what I mean? So there's just it's not to say that one's right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever serves, right? But I am strong because I am strong is a distinction.
Yeah, and the goal here is to, move from victim story, right? So that whatever may have happened in the past, you have an opportunity to integrate it.
Or is happening now.
Or is happening now.
Yeah.
So it's no longer, right, this is happening to me, right? So you can, again, alchemize the past into, action towards what you want to do.
Yeah.
Let's just say that I want to make me stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things, Masha, I'm glad you said that really quickly, is languaging. And so the way that we communicate is actually going to be integrated into this thing as well. And then the stories that we're saying, what didn't kill me, what didn't kill
Yeah.
me, then how is that informing the cells? I didn't get killed. I didn't get killed. You know what I mean? Like there's something really beautiful to soften
Yeah,
and let those stories go.
beautiful, great questions. Anyone
See.
else? You're so cute, like right talking to us. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Nice.
Mhm. Amazing, I love it that you get to bring your book.
Yep. So what will happen, just to kind of close things up, since nobody's jumping in, there is I know we're a little over time, but there is a library that is going to be created and a particular link to a platform that as we go through the modules unlock, and then you will have references to reference, and it's a closed group where only this group is a part of. That is already teed up and ready to go, thanks to this beautiful woman next to me. She's created, so there's like a whole library
Working behind the
that you get
scenes.
to go back and keep referencing and what have
Yeah.
you.
We have all of that.
And then also as far as like your contributions and things like that, please don't let contribution or time get in the way. If you're like, I'm a yes to this, but please reach out. Many of you have already.
Yeah.
We're open to many, if any, possibilities of what that can be, because this is really about a much bigger vision of our world.
It is,
you know?
and I am going to place a link for those of you who are ready to take action, because you'll get added to the group.
Mhm.
So right there, that is the
You can
group
copy
page.
that link and put it in your somewhere on your desktop or in your browser, so you have it. And then, just the way that the contributions go, whatever that gets set as for you, it'll be an automatic situation. So it'll be set it and forget it kind of thing. I believe that's how we're gonna do that.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and there's just the opportunity, like I said, there is the opportunity. One-on-one coaching, some of you have had conversations with me about that, like where we're at as we pick up more and more clients is how we can do many to one and give everyone the benefit. Because if you were to do, 4 calls a month and then a one-on-one quarterly, and you did the math around that, we did the best to like make this accessible, so you still get the same work, actually maybe even better, because you've got now, multiple people that are coaching and being able to practice the coaching and be coached at the same time. So if you're looking for that, this is a great opportunity that makes it very reasonable overall. It's like the cost of like $1.20 a day if you really for a transformation, if you're willing to do the work. Claudia?
I have one question about if someone wants to come and we already start the program, like how far along you can allow them to jump in
Very good. Yeah, we actually had, it was a brief conversation. If there's somebody who wants to come in and we're even in module 2, by all means, please let us know, because we could catch them up and cover. And I would like to say like 2-3 weeks. We wouldn't want to get too far into it, but
2-3 weeks or 2 months?
I'm sorry. After we get like a call into the second module, we're probably going to want to pause from there, because
Yeah.
we're building a foundation upon itself. You know
Yeah,
what I
so
mean?
we probably say through December, and then once we get into January,
Yeah.
right, then we might want to, close the
Yeah.
group then. But great question, thank you. Are there any other questions? Comments?
I just can't get over Sean's background. It's like beautiful. I love
It's so
this.
cool, I love that it's
There's
interactive.
Thank you.
there's like bee moving on the side. I mean, that's awesome.
Yep.
Our Salesforce guru over here. Is Lisa still on
Send
the
you the
call?
video file if you want.
Yeah.
No, she left. She
Oh,
had
she left?
Kirtan.
Lisa, who was on the call, is actually a Salesforce trainer and things like that too. I mean, well, you work with Oracle, which I think
Oracle, yeah.
it buy Salesforce? Or
No,
vice- Okay, I was mixing it up, but
no.
software.
Competitors in a way.
In a way, exactly. All right. Is
Exactly.
it your hand up again, Claudia, or is it just hanging there?
That's from before.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. So
Went over, and here we are.
hopefully we answer all of your questions. We are excited. Can wait for Monday. So Monday, 7 p.m. Is that good? I almost feel like I want to do it a little
Let it
earlier.
rip. It's the first one. It's not the actual.
I kind of
actual-
feel like earlier a little better. So just stay tuned in the chat. We may do the call just a little earlier on Monday, since most of you actually are available earlier. So
Yeah.
amazing. Well, thank you for being here with us, for being part of this journey. For those of you who are yes, and can't wait to get that transformation started, actually already started, but like, really start diving into the program.
Will we be putting this on the website with the other master classes? So anybody who wants to check it out, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I
We'll
can
do that. We'll
definitely
put
do
this
it.
up on our website so you can send it, let anybody else know if there's a Q&A, if they've already been to some of the master classes, that they can
Yeah.
tune in to watch the recording.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Enjoy the recording. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you.